What's up? This is Kesha, and you're watching Intro TV.
Don't stop, make it pop, DJ blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, but the party don't stop. No.
Oh, Will Smith. Oh yeah, I loved Getting Jiggy With It. Like, I'm not going to do this, so don't even ask. But I could if I wanted to, or if I was kind of drunk. Do the whole Getting Jiggy With It, like all the lyrics, the whole dance, like everything. I hate when people have smelly fingers, like they can't touch me, and if someone like has really smelly fingers, then like, and they try to touch me, I'll just like start like screaming and run. Or I also don't really like big circles, like circles or little circles. I hate circles. Prison.
Could you explain it a little bit more?
You just stick and poke. It's really simple, actually. I used to go to like shitty punk band shows in Nashville, and that's kind of how like the first time I ever played shows was because I would go to these shitty shows in like a barn, these punk bands just going totally ape shit, like totally mental, and dressed in drag and looking amazing. And then right after they would be done playing, somebody would start like spinning records, and they would be playing Madonna records. So the same kids that would be dancing to these like punk bands, you couldn't hear a word they were fucking saying, and were dancing to the Madonna record. It made me realize that punk rock isn't necessarily a particular, it's not a sound necessarily, it's more an attitude. And it can, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean the drums have to be live or electronic. Like, I think you could play with that. So I just try to bring as much of that lyrically to my stuff as I possibly can. Well, Jack White's my neighbor, and the Kings live down the street. And yeah, I ran into him at a friend's wedding. I actually went to the wedding of another person that played on my record, Patrick Carney from the Black Keys. He played on a song called Wonderland. And I went to his wedding recently, and I ran into the Kings. So that's not really that far off. He's like a friend of mine. I've known him for a while, and he's kind of been a little bit of a mentor for me. Like, when I was starting out, he lives in Nashville too, and he's just been like a really good friend. And then I recently did a song with him and Wayne Coyne at the Ryman. Did you see that?
No.
You should check it out. It's me and Wayne from the Flaming Lips and Ben Folds all playing at the Ryman, which in Nashville is like the most historic kind of country music house that there is. So he invited us on stage with him recently. It was awesome. You don't understand. The Darkness? Okay, so when I was like 14, I was obsessed with The Darkness, and they were only playing one show, and it was in Milwaukee, which Milwaukee is like 16 hours from Nashville. So I skipped school, and nobody would go with me. So I found this guy who's my friend, who's this 26-year-old guy that had Tourette syndrome, and I made him come with me to Milwaukee on a Greyhound bus to see The Darkness. So we get there fucking finally after 24 hours on a bus, and his Tourette's is that he punches people in their like genitals and their tits. So he's just walking around poking people on their tits and on their like wieners. And then we finally get to the show, we sneak in, it's amazing, and then our bus leaves at 3 a.m, so we meet these girls, and they get so hammered that one of them wakes up in the middle of the night and walks over to a chair and thinks it's a toilet and starts pissing in my shoe. And so I don't have any fucking shoes to wear back home on the bus with the guy with Tourette's who's poking everybody in the balls. Anyways, that's my Darkness story. Oh, amazing. I mean, he's like another person that is like so accomplished and so famous and such an idol, and is the nicest guy you've ever met in your life. Like, so down to earth. Like, I call him Dad because I don't know who my dad is. So he's like, I'll be your dad now. So he's always like, hey, it's Dad. And he like gives me all sorts of crazy advice. And, you know, we did that song together, which was epic, because I was kind of like grossing him out. Like, because you're working with Alice Cooper. So I was like, all right, bring on the big guns. Like, get like fucking nasty. And he was like, that might be a little too much.
Don't stop.